Hello everybody and welcome to another Nephilim Builds. It's Pride Month and we're celebrating by making various LGBTQIA+ characters in media, because fuck Trump. Today we're gonna slay dragons as Taash from Dragon Age Veilguard. As always, keep in mind these videos are about capturing the spirit of the character rather than capturing their abilities perfectly. With that said, let's address the obvious. And no, I'm not talking about Taash being non-binary. Their entire questline is dedicated to them exploring their identity and not just the gender part. What I want to address are all the chodes crying woke about Veilguard. Like, tell me you've never played Dragon Age without telling me you've never played Dragon Age. Not only has queer romance been a thing since Origins, trans people have been a thing since Origins. Granted, BioWare's idea of representation in those games was a prostitute you could hire, but they got better. By the time Inquisition came out, we had Mae Varys, a trans woman from the comics Those Who Sleep and Until We Sleep. She was also in the Heroes of Dragon Age mobile game. Side note, I love Nev, but we should have gotten Mae Varys and she should have been romanceable. Then we got Krem, a trans man, and in Last Flight we got Lisme, a gender-fluid Grey Warden. And those are the characters I know. Apparently I've missed a few books. I've learned to tune out the bitching for the most part, but complaining about diversity in the fourth game of a historically diverse franchise made by a company known for diverse games is beyond stupid. With all that said, let's start with ability scores. Using the standard point array, we'll put the 15 to strength. Taash is as buff as you'd expect from a Qunari. After that, we'll put the 14 to dexterity. They're a bit more agile than your average Tom. Up next is the 13 wisdom for multi-class requirements, and then the 12 into constitution. Non-sword and shield warriors tend to be squishy. Not that that applies here. Veilguard does have problems, diversity just wasn't one of them. We'll put the 10 to intelligence for some dragon nerd knowledge, and then dump charisma. They're just so... whatever, it's not like I care. For species, we're going to go with Goliath. Qunari are still big, buff, and mostly gray. We'll get powerful build and giant ancestry, picking Fire's Burn for Dragonfire Strike. We'll make a custom background, putting our increases into strength and wisdom. We'll get nature and history and take proficiency with the herbalism kit to make our medicine. We'll also take the magic initiate wizard feat. We'll take Firebolt for Spitfire and then Green Flame Blade from Xanathar's for the Focus Fire and Firestorm upgrades for Dragonfire Strike. For a fun drinking game, take a shot every time I say fire or dragon. We'll also take Burning Hands for Fire Breath. Moving on to class, we're going to start off as a fighter. We'll get strength and constitution saving throws and pick athletics and intimidation for skills. We'll also be proficient with all weapons, armor, and shields. At level 1, we get second wind in our fighting style, taking 2-weapon fighting. We'll also get weapon mastery, taking hand axes and battle axes. We're gonna have a talk about dual wielding in a bit. For now, we're gonna multi-class to ranger, getting survival. At level 1, we'll get favored enemy and 2 spells, taking long strider for speed and jump to jump good. At level 2, we'll get Deft Explorer, expertise in nature, and another fighting style, taking defense. We'll also take Goodberry for an Embryon pill. Take one after every fire breath. Real quick, I actually like that Taash has specific medical needs that they have a dedicated diet and medication for. There's this weird social stigma about needing medication outside of seasonal illnesses. It leads a lot of people to not take steps to improve their health for fear of being seen as weak, or in some really weird cases as morally flawed. Can't help but feel like religion somehow to blame for this. Like, you know, most of what's wrong in the world. Anyway, I just like that we get to see an objectively badass character with a medical routine like this. It sends a good message. Back to the build, at level 3 we'll get our Ranger Conclave, taking Hunter. We'll get Hunter's Lore for more dragon nerd knowledge, and Hunter's Prey, taking Colossus Slayer. We'll also take Absorb Elements from Xanathar's for resistances. At level 4 we'll get Large Form, take the Dual Wielder feat, rounding strength, and draw a blank. At level 5 we'll get Extra Attack. Now for that dual wielding talk. The 2024 rules have helped dual wielding in a lot of ways, but they also fucked it. For one, out of the 7 weapons that have the light property, only 3 of them have Nick, and hand axes aren't one of them. The second way dual wielding got fucked was with the dual wielder feat. Specifically, at least one of the weapons you use has to have the light property now, and you have to use that weapon in your attack action. The problem is you end up using your action and your extra attacks attacking with the weaker weapon and then only using the good weapon for the bonus action. It also comes with the weird mental image of using the smaller weapon in your main hand and the bigger one in your offhand. Thankfully, I found a workaround for this. You see, the rules on the attack action don't say what hand you have to use, and extra attack doesn't say that all of your attacks have to be with the same weapon. So for your action, make an attack with both your hand axe and your battle axe. Since you used your light weapon as part of your attack action, you can use your battle axe again as your bonus action. Now maybe most of you already had that figured out, but considering some of the rulings I've seen people arguing about, better safe than sorry. Anyway, we'll also take 8 for HP and swap our blank for Find Traps. Back to Fighter, at level 2 we'll get Action Surge and Tactical Mind, and level 3 we'll get our Martial Archetype. We're going to go with Battle Master, getting Perception and Painter Supplies. You know, for giggles. We'll also get our Superiority Dice and Maneuvers, taking Goading Attack to Taunt. We'll also take Rally to heal with a Dragon's Roar and Trip Attack to knock enemies down.
But Nephilim battle axes already have topple.
Hand axes don't. At level 4 we'll take the Gift of the Metallic Dragon Feet. We'll be using Protective Wing for Fortune's Favor. At level 5 we'll get Tactical Shift, and at level 6 we'll cap our Strength. Back to Ranger for a bit. At level 6 we'll get Roving, and at level 7 we'll get Defensive Tactics. We'll take Multi-Attack Defense. A lot of enemies like to spam in this game, especially those fucking Rage Demons. We'll also take Enhance ability for Super Adari Feats. Back to Fighter, at level 7 we'll get Know Your Enemy, another Superiority die, and 2 more Maneuvers. We'll take Riposte for a counterattack and Distracting Strike for a sort of taunt. At level 8 we'll take the Tough Feat, and at level 9 we'll get Indomitable and Tactical Master. At level 10 we'll get D10 Superiority dice and 2 more Maneuvers, taking Bait and Switch and Maneuvering Attack. At level 11 we'll get another Extra Attack. Lastly, at Fighter and Ranger levels 12 and 8 we'll take the Boons of Fortitude and Spell Recall, raising Wisdom. Now that we're level 20 we finally have our modifiers. Our AC with half plate and defense is 18, our boom speed is 40, and our average HP is 224 with 20 D10 hit dice. And with that, we are done. Now what can this build do? To start, we got solid melee damage with 3 attacks per turn, Hunter's Mark, Colossus Slayer, and Maneuvers. We can even go for a big hit with Green Flame Blade and Fire's Burn. We also make a good support tank with Goading Attack, Rally, and Protective Wings. We even have a solid ranged attack with Firebolt. For weaknesses, even with con save proficiency, a +1 con mod is lower than I'm comfortable with for a melee fighter. We also have a limited resource that comes back on a short rest, and we all know how people feel about that. But for real, we do need to be careful about running out of resources. The fact that our spell modifier is uncapped also means that Firebolt isn't the most reliable move. Weaknesses aside, we stand tall for gold and glory. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to support my channel, there's a link to my Patreon down in the description. $1 a month gets you 2-day early access to my videos and access to all of my homebrew content. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments, and I'll see you all next time when I make Javik from Arcane.